Welcome to the EcoHeidi show. I'm Heidi Borchers. This is where we take creativity and the recycle bin, we mix them together, and I call it creative recycling. On today's show, I'm going to show you what to do with a water bottle and a 2-liter soda bottle. What about all those empty glue containers? Do you have as many as I do? I have a great project to show you today with these. Also, I wanted to share with you a few of my storage secrets. So we're going to go around the studio and show you a few things on how I store some of my products. So let's get started. The first one is showing you the water bottle and a drinking straw and some items that you probably already have around the house. Let's get started. This necklace just takes a water bottle and a drinking straw. And it's really cool because it's using these more inexpensive plastic bottles, and you can make lots of necklaces from one bottle. And let me show you how. First thing we're going to do is you're going to draw your pattern onto this side of the water bottle. And I just take a craft knife and cut off the top. And then I take a pair of scissors to cut it out. Very easy to cut. And then I have one already cut. And remember that the hole is cut out of the center. And then I rip some fabric strips. And to do that, all you do is take your fabric, do a little clip, and then rip it. And you will need to iron these so that they're flat. And I have some here. To start this, you're going to put a little bit of glue on the back side of the piece of water bottle. Put the fabric into it, and then you just start wrapping. And when I get to the corners here, I put a little bit of glue to help the fabric go around the corner. And then kind of pull it a little snug, put maybe a little bit more glue to help hold it. Back around, and you just completely cover it, going all the way around, putting glue in all the corners. When you get to the end, if you need more, just glue another piece onto here to finish it. I have one already started here. They're already wrapped. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to paper punch through the fabric and through the water bottle. With these lighter weight water bottles, you can go right through the fabric, and it's just 1/8 of an inch punch. I then put a jump ring that's about a 3/8 inch jump ring right through the hole. Now on this piece I did wrap it with some, on my sample I wrapped it with some embroidery floss and some beads to kind of decorate it. But to actually make the necklace, you need probably about 30 inches of 3 different colors of embroidery floss. You're going to tie it to the jump ring in a knot. And then you just take each piece and you start to put your beads on. But I also have made some beads out of the drinking straws, so let me show you what I did with those. Just cut your drinking straws into, probably about 1/2 inch pieces. Take your little strips of fabric that you've already torn and you've ironed them, put a little bit of glue on the end, put your straw in, and then put a little glue on the end of the fabric like so. And there you have your straw beads. Now you can make them longer and just wrap them. Some of them on my original one, I did that. So then you're ready to put all these on, maybe some of your beads. And I think on this one I already have, we have one bead on there. Let's put some of these colorful tiny little beads. Also on the embroidery floss, if you put a little glue on the end of it and then you kind of twist it, it makes a great needle. So we're going to put some of these on for the extra color. Also, if you use the glass beads, it helps the necklace to be a little bit heavier. And that way then it hangs better than just being really lightweight. We're going to put on one of our straw beads. And you can see how that's starting to take form. So you're going to cover all 6 of these all the way up for however long you want it. It might be that that 30 inches isn't how long you want it. You want it to be shorter. Be sure you measure when you get up to a certain point. And then at the end, I'm using, when you get them all on and you have these 3 strands of, after these are all full and you have these 3 strands of embroidery floss, there's this cool little finding that actually holds like same thing, like the either yarn or string, where you put this onto the string, you put your 3 strands in it like so, and then you take a pair of pliers and just push both sides over, push one side over and the other side over, and then it holds on to all your strings. It has a little ring on here so that you can take and attach a jump ring to it, and then you can attach your lobster claw. And let me bring the piece in here too. This is the original piece that I did. It has the 3 strands on each side. And you can see how I covered the main piece. And like I said, there are lots of glass beads in here, which makes it heavier so that it's just not floating. Because sometimes with this lightweight piece, it just kind of floats. So the heaviness of the glass beads works really great. Here's my clasp. Perfect necklace. Wonderful to be recycling all of our water bottles. Did you know that I have lots of other plastic water bottle jewelry ideas? You can find them in my book, Green Bling, which is available on cool2craft.com. Also check out the videos on cool2craft.com because there's lots of other eco ideas there. I don't think I can even count how many bottles of Aleene's Tacky Glue that I have used through the years. Do you? I don't think I can. But recently, there was quite a few of them on my table and I thought, oh, I've just got to make something out of them. So here's what I came up with. It's a fun project. Check it out. This project is so much fun because you can use glue bottles instead of throwing them away, the empty glue bottles. So you can use any size glue bottle. You could use the smaller ones or the larger ones. These happen to be the 4 ounce because that's the type that I go through a lot. So we're going to start with, let me put these aside. The first thing you need to do is to make sure that you empty your glue bottle. What I do is I turn it upside down like overnight in a container with the lid on until all the glue comes down to the top. And then there's always a couple teaspoons of the glue in there. So you want to make sure that you transfer it into another glue bottle. So I drill on the bottom with my battery drill and a 1/16 of an inch drill bit. And I put in the wire goes in here for the arms and wire goes in here for the legs. And what I do is I already have this one in. So what I do is I turn this end with a little hook on it, bend it down. So when we just pulled it out. Let's see if we can get it back in. There we go. So when I bring it down, that little hook that I put in there will hold the legs. Now I don't need them this long because I'm only going to make a little hook for my legs. We're going to cut that off. And you also want to save that wire for the top of the cap for the head. So this is preparing our bottle so that we can, we're ready to glue on the paper. So I'm using just Collage Posh by Aleene's, and I'm gonna brush it onto my bottle, my surface, brush it to the back of the paper, put it into where I put it on before, and then put it over the top. And I always do this when I'm collaging. I put it underneath, I put it on the back of the paper, and then I put it over. And you would completely cover the bottle with paper all the way around, underneath, and up to the lid here. And I already have one done. And I still need to cut these off a little bit. Now for the legs, we are going to use a candle and spoons, just plastic spoons. This makes the feet and the leg, and it also makes the arm. So to soften the spoon so you can bend it, you're just going to put it over the candle flame. Don't put it in the candle flame because then it turns black. Just kind of soften it, and you can feel it when it starts to bend a little bit. There it goes. And you want to bend that up for the leg. This is going to be the shoe and the leg. And let it set, and then just put it aside. For the arm, same thing, heat it over the flame. And then I kind of pull it apart, and then I cut it. So I have a couple legs, a couple arms, and you're going to drill each one. You're going to put with that same little 16th inch drill bit, drill each leg and each arm. And then to do the leggings and the sleeve, I put on balloons. So on each leg you put 2 colors of balloons. On each arm, just one, mix it for the sleeve. And you could paint on shoes if you want. Mine had shoes on it, but you don't have to. Now what we're going to do is we're going to trim it a little bit more because I want to make sure that it's going to be like a little ring. It's going to be a circle, so we're going to create our circle with a wire. And also, I forgot to mention that this is 18 gauge wire. So now we're going to take this, and where we had that little, drilled that little hole, poke something sharp through it so we actually have a hole. And then that fits onto that little hook that we just created. So we have one on, and we're going to tighten that so that it fits right over that. And see how that kind of dangles. And the arm is the same thing. We're going to cut off make it into a circle, a ring, put it on. Put that on there. And then finish the ring. Like so, and that's your arm. Okay, we're going to put the head on, or the cap back on. And I put the wire, oops, let me show you. I put the wire with, again, the a curled wire, or curled end, so that you could, so it doesn't come out. And that's going to act as our hanger. Okay, the head. Okay, these heads are actually available on shopcool2craft.com. They are made out of the Cool to Cast, and they are available in just plain where you can paint them, or they're already painted. So I'm going to show you just very quickly how to put kind of an antiquing over it. So I have black paint. I just very quickly go over, and a little bit of water in the black paint. And then I wipe it off. And I like how the antiquing gets in and kind of highlights the eyes. I want to take a little bit more off, and I can always put more on. And take it off. So the hair then is next, and all I do is I take and wrap this around my fingers, round and around, about 20-25 times, and then I tie it off with a knot with an extra piece, and I have this for the hair. Now I take and just glue it to the top, put a little bit of glue on the top of the head, and I'm just using the tacky glue, and I set the hair right into the glue and let it dry. And later I can come in and I can cut the bangs. Now to attach the head, I take, first of all, I was trying to figure out how I could attach the head, because it kind of, there's a gap there. So I found that craft tack, which is usually used for like photos and papers and posters and things like that, if I kind of balled up some of it, I put it up here, it's sticky, put some glue here for the head, and then put the head into the glue. It worked really good because the craft tack is helping to hold it until the glue dries, and also it has an angle that it's allowing it to press up against the bottle nozzle. So let's take a look at the final piece. The little skirt is actually made from an organdy piece that I got off of a bouquet of flowers, and I just stitched it, and then I put the daisy trim. She has a bow, she has a crown, and like you can see her shoes, I painted her shoes on, and then over her hands I glued a little heart and a little bumblebee that I had here in the studio. But she's very cute. She makes me smile, so it's fun to have her in the studio where I can look up and see my glue muse. She's very fun. Before we go on, I wanted to show you the fabric that I use for her skirt. It actually is what fresh flowers come in. You usually put the fresh flowers in here. It comes in all kinds of bright colors, and I've got some because my husband buys me flowers, and I just cut strips of it, and that's what I made her skirt out of. And it's a really fun material, so if you have it, be sure you keep it, don't get rid of it. Now, before we go on to our next project, I did want to show you some of the storage in my studio. So let's take a look. A few years ago, I was lucky enough to find this cabinet at a garage sale. And it has so many drawers, so many nooks and crannies. What creative person doesn't love a cabinet like this? So guess what I decided to put into this? I'll show you. Let's go up here. Can you see that? Love my beads. And I had fun with all these old label holders. And up here I put can't do without my jewelry findings. And jewelry findings can be found in here. And then it goes on up here to making jewelry one necklace at a time. So in these drawers are jars and jars of my beads. Some of them organized, some of them not. And of course, where it says can't do without my jewelry findings, I have lots of findings in here. Some strands, findings. And then down here on some of the bottom ones, I have some of my collection is in plastic containers, organized in plastic containers. So there's drawers and drawers of fun beads. But that's not all. Let me show you another place that has beads. No matter where your creative space is, if it's in the garage, your studio, in your basement, spare room, your closet, we never have enough storage for our products or our designs. So here's what I've come up with to save me a little bit of space, and also I can showcase more of my art. This is my storage for some of my beads. They're in lots and lots of jars and containers. And then when I don't need access to them, I have a picture, a collage that goes over them. Now this collage isn't finished, but I didn't want to put it into the garage for storage. I just kind of wanted to keep looking at it to see what ideas I could come up with. I also have this other collage that with my girls, and behind it has alphabet beads. And that is some of the extra storage in my studio. I think it's pretty cool nowadays what they do with recycling plastic bottles, whether they're the water bottles or the soda bottles. They actually make fleece fabric, they make carpet, children's playground equipment is all made from recycling plastic bottles. So I think that's really cool that someone has taken the initiative to make other products out of it. That's recycling at its best. But how about today we be creative with it and help our feathered friends and make them a home? Check it out. I love finding a creative use for these 2-liter soda bottles. Then it means that they're not going to go into the landfill, and that makes me very happy. Today, to make the birdhouse, the first thing you need to do is to trace on the hole for your bird, and also you're going to have a little hole that you're going to put the wooden dowel in for the little bird to sit on. And all you do is just cut it out with the craft knife. Just go in there and just cut it out all the way around. And then this hole here, I usually use a drill so I can get a perfect circle. I use the drill the same size of the little dowel that I'm putting it in. You're going to drill a hole at the top of your cap so that you can put your wire in. I'll show you that in just a second. So you paint your soda bottle completely, and I just use layers of different kinds of acrylic paint, and I use a sponge, just a facial sponge to put it on. Just dab it all over. You can see my little wooden dowel here. And here's my cap where I put my wire in. I've curled the ends so that I have a hook. Put that back on. Next thing I want to do is I want to stencil the little windows on. I created my stencil from shrink plastic, and it's the opaque shrink plastic. It's very flexible. It makes perfect stencil material. I've also put some stencil adhesive, which is a repositionable adhesive, on the back of this. Put it down and put my little facial sponge into it, dab it off a little bit, and then go right on to the stencil. And you just go up and down very carefully, up and down. Put it into, you probably can't see that, I put it into the paint and then I dab it off so I don't have an absolutely wet sponge. And then I just take it off, and there I have my window. Now I also like to take and outline it, so I put a little bit of the black acrylic paint and a little bit of water on my brush to thin it out a tiny bit, and just to give it a little detail, a little drop of water on there. Whoops. Paint yourself while you're at it. So give some detail. I just go over the little curtains and line them in. And it's just a really quick stroke. It doesn't have to be perfect. I think it just kind of shows them a little bit better. I think we are about ready for our roof. Now the original one that I did, I actually put pine bark for the roof, but I found that the pine bark is not available where I am now. I'm at a different location. I'm at the beach. I have lots of sand, but I don't have any pine bark. So I thought, okay, what can I use that would make a great roof? And this is what I came up with. A CD. So I wanted to cut these into smaller pieces, and the only way that you can really cut them successfully is to heat them up. So I'm going to heat this up for a minute with my heat gun. And then they don't crack as bad. And now if you can get that foil off the back, sometimes it just comes off, but if you can just kind of peel it off a lot, that helps too. It doesn't matter because you're going to paint it. You don't want to paint on the foil side, you want to paint on the side that's just the plain plastic. And what I did, I used a couple different colors here. And again with my facial, I put black on first. And that was the wrong side. Put it on the plastic side, not where the foil is. let it dry, and then come back with your other colors. And I even put a green on the edge. Like that. Now you need about 3 CDs for the roof. And again, you're going to heat them and cut them and then paint them. And then this is what you have here. This is the roof. And I'm going to show you really quick for the gluing of them. The best glue to use is one that has a lot of strength, and that is, I'm using the Aleene's Platinum Bond 7800, and put a little dab on the back, and then just put it into place, and then let it dry. And I also found that it helped, especially on my first row, to tape it with some masking tape until it glued. Put a little bit more and put the next one on. And it's that easy. Let me show you again the roof. And there's the holder, and it's completely all ready for the birds to go hanging into a tree, and the birds are going to love that you've recycled and made a home for them. This is such a cool project. I just love this project. Talking about other cool projects, what do you do with the large plastic containers that lettuce and spinach come in? You're not throwing them away, are you? They are perfect storage containers. And you can use duct tape. Duct tape comes in wonderful, colorful shades now, and it also comes in some wonderful prints, and I even saw it the other day in sheets. So if you take these plastic containers, you put the duct tape around them, do some decorations in the duct tape, and some cool craft foam letters that stick on. What it does is the duct tape makes it a little bit stronger, but this makes such a wonderful storage box for you. Why don't you get the whole family involved in that? They'd love to help you out. So that's all for the EcoHeidi show today. I'm so happy that you joined me, and I will see you again next time. But don't forget that you can watch Cool to Craft every Monday, 9 o'clock Pacific time and noon Eastern time. And we have all kinds of great ideas for you. So be sure that you stay eco, and why not be creative at the same time. See you next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming.